So yesterday we did Julia, which she's a problematic character in and of herself, and we've already talked about that. And it only makes sense to follow up Julia with her best bitch. Their term, not mine. I would never. That's also a line from the magician, so it's funny if you get it. And so we're not doing Julia, but we're doing her best bitch, Kady. And I am excited to tell you all about Kady's bar and all of the things in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff.
One, two, three,
How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 34 of 365 days of soap, and we're continuing on with our magicians-themed soaps, and we are making Kady. Now, Kady is a very interesting character. She's not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination, but also neither is Julia. So they're kind of complicated, but for Kady, she's very, very talented, and I think she just gets the shaft over and over and over again. But for her involvement in like the support cast and where she exists within all of the different group dynamics, she totally works. Now, she's very badass, and she's very like scary. She's kind of scary, and a very, very talented magician, very dark, very sultry. And so for that reason, I decided to go with a Rose Gem, I believe it's the dupe. It's the Lush dupe from Cierra candles for her bar. And also I am going to be playing with a kiss pour to really kind of capture the good in her, like the light side versus the more broody side of her, because she does have both, and I think she doesn't actually get enough credit for the light side, for like the good and the I'm upbeat, because you don't see it a lot, but she definitely has it. So I wanted to work the kiss pour for that and do some cool colors with all of that, and so that's what we're doing today. Let's go to the video. We will talk more about Kady and the bar and all of the things and Cierra candles, you know, there. Okay, so Lush dupe for Kady, Rose Jam. Vanillin content is 2.54, which means it's likely going to discolor. So I am keeping that in mind with my color selections. Now, the reason why I did Rose Jam for this bar is because, I don't know, Rose Jam is kind of like a sexy, sexy scent, and Kady is very sultry. And so I thought that that was fitting, for sure. Now, that said, Kady is a complicated character for me. Like, I don't exactly know why she's complicated for me, because she doesn't actually do anything intrinsically, like, bad. There are a lot of characters that make some really boneheaded decisions that actually impacts everyone on a big level. But like the only real thing that Kady ever did was in like the first few episodes, and it was, she was a thief. She was stealing from break bills, but like it turned out there was like a good reason for her theft. And so there's no real reason for me to dislike her, is the point. I don't really know why I'm there. I really don't. But she's always just kind of, I don't know. I don't know that I don't necessarily like her, because I have a very real distaste for like Alice, right? But with Kady, I I don't know. I guess she's a great supporting cast member-ish. Maybe I don't like the fact that they did not develop her character enough, because she came in to break bills already knowing magic, but knowing battle magic, which was, cool. It's like Defense Against the Dark Arts, right? But again, these are all like adults, and essentially they're old enough to be in graduate school. So she got her battle magic experience from like a group of witches that exist that did not go to the break bills, called hedge witches. Now, for this pour, I am doing a kiss pour. And so the main color on one side is going to be the blue, which I am pouring at a 4 count. And then the white and the black will go in on top of that at a 2 count. So count to 2, count to 2, and then with the blue, count to 4. So that's what I'm doing to fill my long spout containers there to do the pour. And the reason why I decided to do the kiss pour for Kady was A, I wanted to play with the kiss pour again, and 2, just the name of the word, the pour, just made me think of Kady, because she says something at some point in one of the episodes that all she ever wanted to do was be, this character's girlfriend. And it was a real moment of vulnerability for her, which is kind of shocking, because Kady's not a vulnerable person. She never lets it show, but she was really going through it. And so that struck me. And so that's why I'm doing the kiss pour for Miss Kady. Now, again, one side is going to be the blue, black, and white, and the other side is going to be the red, black, and white. And I really just chose the blue and the red because Kady, when she has a good red lip on, and also she has an episode where she's in like stage attire and doing, a cool like song thing, and she's all dressed in red and has a great red lip, and it's awesome. And also she looks very good in blue. And so that was really the thought process behind choosing the colors. So there's also that. And this batter, having never worked with this scent from Cierra candles, you never know what you're going to get when it's a very first time playing with fragrance. But this has been great. Like, it's still very, very fluid, absolutely delightful. Looking forward to, doing the pour and the thing, because this little prep work here to actually fill your containers, it actually takes quite a bit of time. Like, I speed this up and cut things out and do the whatevers, but it takes a while. And so when you have a nice fluid batter, it makes it more likely that your pour is going to work instead of it all being too thick at the end of it. And then you have to just sort of slam it into the mold and hope for the best, like with my second spin or multi-divider tool thing. Okay, now on to the pour. Now the actual pouring part of a kiss pour is very, very fast, really. There's not a lot that goes into it. You're going to take your containers, and you can do it in all different places. The Soap Prentice actually likes playing with the different places you can start a kiss and then stop it and do it again, all the jazz. My biggest problem is I can't even figure out how to position it so I can get it right in the middle. So I just do it right in the middle. That's how I roll. But yeah, it's actually a fairly easy process there. You're just going to keep pouring. Now I am seeing some separation going on in both containers. And so we have a little bit of separation, which is something to keep in mind, but I don't think this is going to kill the pour at all. So it's all good. And I mean, the cool thing about this, like using like acrylic pours or whatever in a soap design, is if it looks all, I mean, literally like this, like kind of muddied and feathery. And I mean, that's literally the point of the pour. So it's all good. And that I am not mad at. Didn't take super long to get into the container. You had some ricing going on, but that ricing is going to work itself out in the saponification in the oven. And wow, that is beautiful. I love that. Now, for the rest of this, here's the thing. The Magician has keys. And so I had to have a bar with keys. There's a big focus about keys and buttons, but that's less of a focus than the keys. I mean, they spent an entire season on keys and finding them and having them. And for Fillory. And Kady, I think, is the only person in the entire cast, like the main cast, that never even went to Fillory. And so it's weird that I chose her bar to put the keys on top of. But also, I think she was there at the end of the world wherein the keys were all needed. I think she was one of the ones that, held a key at that point. Well, that's not technically in Fillory. But the reason why I decided to put the keys on her bar is for two reasons. One, I forgot to put keys into any of the other designs. And two, she went through this thing where she was holding like the second key all of the time, because this was like a revealing key, and it was the only way that she could talk to this one character that she loved oh so very much. And so I thought, well, cool, because she was really going through it at that point, and she would like cling to this key like feeding an addiction. And it was, I don't know, I found it to be interesting and important. And so it still ultimately worked that the keys went on her bar. But now that the keys are on, these keys were made with melt and pour, but I am going to go ahead and put it in the oven anyway for C-Pop and gel, because I'm a crazy rebel, and hope that they don't melt. And we will see all of them after saponification and, all caught up. So now it's time for the oven. Okay, and on to the cut. Now, this did get C-popped and gelled, and it's still a very soft bar. We've got some soda ash going on, but, all in all, not too terrible. It is softer than I would like to be cutting it. So normally, if I didn't have to, stick to a schedule and do whatever, I probably would let this sit up for a couple more days, just based on the oil selections that I did for this. I probably would wait, but I'm not gonna today, so I'm gonna have to clean up the sides. So that sucks, but it's okay. It's all good. Now, I haven't been talking about the D&D and the alignment for Kady, and I'm kind of doing that for a reason, because I think she goes neutral good, and then that just makes me look like a dick. That I'm like, I don't like Kady. You don't like neutral good characters? No, I kind of don't. I just kind of don't. Harry Potter is a neutral good, right? I don't dislike him, but I don't love him, he's not even close to my favorite character in the Harry Potter world. He doesn't do anything intrinsically bad. He's not, chaotic and actively violating all of the rules for, his own selfish gain. And also, but at the same time, he's not a super big rule follower for the sake of rules existing. And so neutral good. That's also Kady. She's not really invested one way or the other, but she's definitely a good character. She does the right thing for all of the people in her life, even while putting on this really big, bravado front about being super strong and not needing anyone, and I don't need friends. Friends are stupid. But she does need them, and she cares about them, and she does the thing. And yeah, this actually, I should have let these all set up for a couple more days before cutting them, because we're not quite done with saponification right now. These actually did sit for, I don't know, I would say less than 12 hours for sure. My schedule was weird from one day to the next. And so I was there super late one day and there super early the next. And so everything got cut. But gorgeous bars of soap. We should, I guess, talk about that. Look at my kiss pour, guys. Like, for those of you who don't know or care about the magicians and D&D alignment and all the things that I like to geek out on, isn't that a pretty bar of soap? It's beautiful. I love that. Kiss pours are a lot of fun, for sure. And this one was no exception to that at all. And the rose jam is super potent and likely still going to discolor a bit, but based on the colors that I used, it's still going to be red, it's still going to be blue. That white is all but gone anyway, so, no big deal. It's all good. But that is the Kady bar for the Magician's line, day 34, and it's awesome. And there it is, the Kady bar, and I love this one. I think it really fits really well. It's a nice pairing with, well, a number of different characters actually, because of the way that the magicians work and the different timelines that are always involved with all of it. The characters sort of meet each other and intermingle with each other in different ways throughout the different timelines, and so she's actually tied to a number of characters that's represented within that bar. So take that for what it is. If you are interested in the Kady bar, you can totally find it on the website at soapandclay.com once we're done with the Magician series. So we're getting closer to the end for sure. And you can find whatever else you might want on the website, now while you're waiting for the Magicians. That would be cool. If you're interested in seeing what else we come up with for 365 days of soap, or who else we do for the Magicians line, to see if we do your favorite characters, subscribe. That would be cool. I was just thinking about the favorite characters thing, and I was thinking about who else is left. I guess you don't actually know how many soaps we're doing though, so it's still a mystery to you. Really, but yeah, you should subscribe just to make sure that I don't forget, some of the biggest characters ever throughout this entire, series. I'm not gonna, I promise. I won't. But subscribe anyway, that'd be cool, is the point. For those of you who are subscribed, hey, thanks for being subscribed and for just continuing to sit here and watch me make sense of something that I really could have just edited out, but I chose to not and just leave it there because you are my people and my tribe, and this is how I interact with my people and my tribe. So there's that. Thank you for being part of my tribe and for joining me for another round of 365 days of soap. I'm out of here for today. I will see you guys all again tomorrow for another round of soapy fun. Bye.